Hello, dear participants of Module 5. We've done practicals number 1. We're about to do practicals number 2 on strategic planning. But I thought that it would be helpful if in between the two practical sessions, I share a few thoughts with you on things worth knowing about strategic planning. So what are those few things? Yes, so let's see them. So let's see the few things that worth knowing about strategic plan. As I said, just a few things. There are so many things to be learned. Let's start with the pronunciation. As you have noticed over the last few interactions with you, I've tried to pronounce this word strategy. Yes, like I'm spelling like Yoruba strategy. But when it comes to this adjective, I like to pronounce it strategic rather than strategic. You're free, no policeman will catch you if you pronounce strategic. But if you noticed, the people whose word it belongs, I thought it was actually British pronunciation. I found out it's the normal pronunciation, either British or American. Strategic. So all through this course, I'll be pronouncing strategic plan. I call strategy, but if you like, you can call it anything that you want. Now, first things first, what are different types of plans? Now, there are the following. Within strategic plan, you have what we call the tactical plans. And then after the tactical plans, you have the operational plans. And after the operational plans, if things fail, then you have the contingency plan. Let me give you an example. Now, you're hungry, like I am maybe now. Not maybe, like I'm hungry, and I want lunch. So my strategic goal is to eat my lunch. That's fair. But the lunch will not just drop down into my throat and to my belly, but I have to do a few things. First, you go to, well, either get your household to give you your food. So that's a tactic, bringing the food. But were I to be like a housewife and you have to go to the market, you go to the market. So that's a tactic. Going to the market to buy the foodstuffs and then coming back. Actually, one step would be, okay, you get some money in the bank, or you take your card and you go to take a car, or you go to your car, you crank the car. That is the tactics. The tactics are all the small elements that will lead you to the operational plan. The operational plan is, oh, food is now on the table, and now the overall goal, strategic goal, is for me to eat. So putting the food into my mouth is the operational plan. And then contingency plan. In an event that none of these things work, then I have to maybe order food to eat. So that's the contingency plan. Now let's overlay this with our test for Friday. Our tactical plans will include you attending the lectures for this week, you're reading your notes. If you have colleagues in Module 5 around you, discuss with them, and then you get your internet ready. That is the tactical plan. But what about the operational plan? Operational plan is that on Friday at 5 p.m., you log into VigBase site to take the test. And then operationally, you then take the test. All of these things are all within the framework of the strategic plan of your doing this test. Now, in case something fails, in case there's internet or power failure, they have to get help from other sources. So that will be the contingency plan. So what's the strategic plan? I've tried to list a few things here. It's a document. At the end of it, you go together as a document which will lead the path to success. As a recipe to achieve the vision and mission, step-by-step guide. You can look at this because as I said, I'm just going to give you tidbits. We'll have a book which is almost like 300 pages thick of strategic planning and management and implementation. So here I've just spent quite a few minutes telling you a few things. So you can express it in 5-yearly periods. So that we call a quinquennial plan, or can be a 10-year period. So look at our 5-year plan. The Baba Rashid, that's my boss, Abubakar Adamu Rashid. This is something we've modified this anyway to 2019 to 2023. So 5-year plan, and is the blueprint on the rapid revitalization of university education in Nigeria. Called it Blueprint 2023. It's a strategic plan. I'm going to share it with you, and you will see how this thing looks like. So what does a strategic plan do? It establishes a big picture. Big picture. I want to eat. of the vision, strategic directions, and goals and objectives. And of course, it determines the actions that you need to undertake. Like I use the example of the food. You have to go to the market, buy tomatoes, buy all these things, buy gari, and cook. So that the intermediate steps, so that the tactical plans. It establishes investments and resource allocation priorities. Well, let's look at the definition, several of them, and I'm going to be asking you in this class. You see, I don't like the concept of, say, strategic plan according to this person, according to this. Yes, you can code them, but you are senior academics, you are professors. About half of the class made up of professors who are vice chancellors, directors of academic planning, and all that. You should be able to have your own definition of strategic planning. And I'm going to set up a form where you put yours. So we'll call this one a process by which an organization determines what it intends to be in the future and how it will get there. Simple, simple. It includes all of this. That's an expansion of that first one. So there are four major steps. Where are we now? Where are we now? Where do you want to be in the future? In this case, 5 years. How do we get there? How do we get to where we want to be? Yeah, how do we measure progress? Those are the four major things. If you look at some other literature on strategic planning, you find not too different from this one. So the benefits are numerous. You actually will have the discussion forum coming up on Wednesday. You're going to have this. It takes a proactive rather than a reactive approach. In other words, you are looking ahead rather than the thing has happened and you are now reacting to it. And it leads to an efficient reallocation of resources to meet changing conditions, and the rest that you can see here. Now, let's go on to other benefits. You have the enables clearer definition of the purpose of this. You can get all of this. I'm sure you know all of it. You can even do a lot more, write a lot more on the benefits of strategic planning. So there are several models. There's the goals-based model. This is the most common one, where you say, okay, strategic goal is this. There's also the issues-based model. This one starts with examining issues that the organization is facing. Say, okay, we are facing some strike action going on now. What are our plans? When the students resume, what are we going to be doing? Issues-based. Organic focus is primarily on vision and values, and they have scenario type of strategic planning where you say this scenario, assume this is the scenario we get. What is next? There are several components of a strategic plan. Look, this course is practical. So this one I'm giving to you as a few things. We are just note them because we're going to be doing this in practice. You say the vision, mission, core values, strategic issues, operational plans, and the rest. And then you have to set goals. This is a goal-based model that's understandable, acceptable, flexible, measurable, inspirational, suitable, achievable, and smart. Smart, specific, measurable, look, this SWOT, attainable, research-based, and time-based. There are several steps in it, steps of strategy plan, and you have this SWOT analysis. We're going to get there. So when you conduct strategic planning, the process is you define the vision, mission, core values, and objectives. Then you specify your goals that you want to achieve. Then you develop the strategies. So you specify achievable goals, develop strategies, you determine the implementation plan, and then the monitoring and evaluation plan. By the way, this evaluation. So let's look at vision, mission, and values. We'll be looking at this in practical details later, but this session is to just go through very quickly this issue. So vision, of course, vision, you take binoculars or you take telescope, look at the future of what your university would like to become in 5 years or anytime you have specified it. So long-term position to be achieved, and an effective vision, what will it be like? It should be widely shared. The keynote address speaker, Professor Nana Okebukola, told us in our address that look, the vision has to be widely shared. And you are going to see this in a little while when we go into practical session 2. It should be clearly articulated, it should be strongly supported, it should be challenging, but achievable, and it should be highly desirable and a substantial part of improvement. Concise, it should be concise and memorable that you can all recall. So to develop a vision statement is a motivational tool, often included highly idealistic phrasing to become a world class. You know, all most of Nigerian universities say the vision to become a world class university. Of course, it can be achieved. That's why it's idealistic in terms of its phrasing. But why not? You can put it there so that you all aim towards attaining that. Let's take a few examples. Ibadan. The vision of Ibadan is to be, you can see, world class institution. Yes, it is world class for academic excellence geared towards meeting societal needs. OAU, the mission of the university is to promote by research and other means the advancement of knowledge and its practical application to social, cultural, economic, scientific, and technological problems, to create a conducive teaching and learning community for imparting skills and all that. Lagos State University, my university is saying to provide Lagos State with the required human capital for the sustenance of position as a commercial and industrial hub of the Federal Republic of Nigeria, and the strategic, hey, myself, I don't come get this thing there, strategic transformation of the industrial capacity of the state in particular and the country in general. As you have noticed, the mission statements here are rather longish, but we expect that both vision and mission should be short and sweet. So here you have what it describes and all of that. Mission, purpose for the organization's existence. That should be the mission. It should present the fundamental and unique aspirations that make that is organization, like your university, different from others. Who we are and what we do. All sub-units should be focused on the organization's mission and how they contribute towards accomplishments. So the scope of the mission is put in here, defines the type of activities that you undertake. It should be clearly identified, serve as a basis for development of certain goals. So let's look at a few others. Harvard, to educate citizen leaders for our society through our commitment to the transformative power of the liberal arts and sciences education. Straightforward. University of Ibadan has this four: to expand the frontiers of knowledge through provision of that, to produce graduates who are worthy in character and sound judgment, to contribute to the transformation of society, to serve as dynamic custodian of that. Nobody is going to arrest you for letting your vision be 200 sentences or 2 sentences. So it depends on what you want to be, how unique you want to have it. OAU, the mission is to promote by research and other means the advancement of knowledge and its practical application to create conducive environment. Lagos State University, you know, the other time we looked at vision, this is mission. To provide qualitative education to the large populace of Lagos State in particular, as we are preparing them for challenges of managing the public and private sectors of the state. More examples: Johns Hopkins Medical School. Might have called this one too. It's not John Hopkins, it's Johns. That's a story for another day. The mission of Johns Hopkins Medical School is to improve the health of the community and the world by setting the standard of excellence in medical and education research and clinical care. You know, when we get to practicals number 2, you are going to be coming up with your own vision, mission, and all of that for your university or your website. So nobody is going to arrest you. Just tell us how you want to get about it. Then values, core values, usually about 4 to 6 core values, nothing more than that, honesty and all of that kind of material. So then you get on step 2, your SWOT analysis. SWOT, that's environmental scan for you to identify the strengths, weaknesses, strengths, and conditions. Draw on internal, external information that you have. And so for SWOT analysis, you have to have your strength. You can actually put them in this rectangle. Yes, or this square, whatever it is. So you have the strengths, you list them here. The weaknesses, you list them here. The opportunities, you list them here. The threats, you list them here. So the strengths are internal to the entity, resources and capabilities that can be used to develop a competitive advantage. The weaknesses, absence of certain strengths. The opportunities, external analysis may reveal new opportunities for growth. Threats to your existence. So goals and objectives, Goals. A goal will explain how the mission will be realized and describe what is to be accomplished. The objectives will specify how, hey, and when goals will be met. So we have what we call SMART goals. This S is specific. The goal should be focused. We're going to do all of this. I just thought, like I said earlier, just get this over with. Just have some theoretical knowledge, practicals coming up. Measurable, assignable. The goal should be able to be broken to tasks that can be given to specific people. Realistic. The goal should be achievable given resource and time constraints. Time bound. The goal should have a time frame associated with it. So say, okay, by 2022, you're going to have the. Let me just show you quick. Yeah, let me show you what the Baba Rashid Revolution, that's the blueprint 2019-2023 is telling us about the strategic goals. You can see we say by 2023, access to university education will increase by a factor of 20% over 2018 figures. That's how you go to state it, my dear participants in Module 5. You can't just say by 20 access to university should have increased. No, you got to put it should be measurable by a factor of 20. We're saying here by 2023, at least 30% of facilities for teaching, learning, and research should be upgraded to meet international standards and maintained thereafter. By 2023, the gap in the number of teachers needed in the Nigerian university system and those in post should have been reduced from 30% to 20%. So that's what we mean by SMART goal or SMART objective. Yeah, so you can see I also put the time bound there. So then you have the evaluation of actions. So who implements? Who will do that? How much will it cost? What resources and staff will be required? You see, this one is interesting because you're going to cost it. You are going to see how much this strategic plan is going to cost. We did a strategic plan for the ranking of Nigerian universities. I'm going to be sharing that with you in the other practicals number 3. Excuse me. What's the time frame? What will So those are the few things that I thought I should share with you before we dive into practicals. Number 2. What have we learned? We have learned about what strategic plan is. We got some operational definition, and we look at types of plans: tactical plans, operational plans, and then contingency plans. And we looked at the different phases of strategic planning. And then I tell you, in the next practical session, well, I would assume that you know this because we are going to come up with a model of strategic plan. Thank you once again and enjoy the. Yeah. So that's it for this brief session. So get prepared as we move on to practical session number 2. And I would assume that you were able to pick up one or two of these things that we discussed. So see you soon.